welcome to my kitchen, where today we are going to be making steak or steak marinade. We're going to be cooking some steak. So this is one dish that in my home ec class has been requested over and over. It's like, I want to make steak. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, here's the beautiful thing about making steak is that you can marinate it in whatever makes you happy. I like to start with soy sauce as a base. So, and I don't measure, I just put it in. This is one of those little tops that helps control so you don't get a big pour out of it. You can also pop the top with a little vegetable peeler, typically, if I do it right. Or not. Oh, there it goes. And then it comes out with some work. Okay, so I pour a good bit in and then just pop that back in. Okay, and then Worcestershire sauce. Again, people have trouble pronouncing it. Think of it as West with an ooh in it, Woost, and then assure, like I'm assuring you everything's okay. Worcestershire. Not so hard. Worcestershire. Okay, so put some of that in. A little bit, not a lot. This stuff is pretty potent. Liquid smoke. Just some. And then sesame oil, because I love sesame oil with soy together. One of my all-time favorite combinations. Definitely a little Asian flair there. And I also like to do some olive oil. Again, just some. That's why I'm not giving you exact measurements on this. And then from here, my goodness, the rest is just what you prefer. So I have a little bit of lemon juice here for some acid. And that was in the back of the freezer, refrigerator, some of that froze, goodness. Okay, and I'm going to add to this some onion powder, some garlic powder. Again, you don't have to do exactly these. Just do whatever makes you happy. Rosemary makes me very happy. He gets a rosemary. Let me show you. Comes when it's dried. It's in these big needles like that. Okay. So to help get the most flavor out of them, I like to kind of take them and just kind of squish them a little bit in my hands, just to break it up. And it has a sprinkle kind of lid that they expect you to get it out of with. That's too small. I like to add it just so. And look at those little holes. I expect you to get those big things out. Not gonna happen. Okay. Anyway, where there's a will, there's a way. Take the lid off. A little bit of thyme. I don't like to go too crazy with thyme, but it does go very well with rosemary. I like to do my own crushed black pepper. You could, of course, use ground, but it's just not as strong. And I just like it so much better when I can grate it myself. And have bigger peppercorns in it. I'm gonna put just a little bit of dill because I love it. And not a lot, but a little crushed red pepper flake. Just enough to give it some flavor, not to give it heat. Okay, so there we have it. You could put honey in here, which I think I will put a little bit. Some do sugar, some do none of it. I think just a little bit, not a lot, but a little. So it's pretty simple. You want some oil, you want some acid. So typically some type of vinegar, oil, soy, Worcestershire, all that good stuff. And then I have my steaks have been thawing in a bag. Little funny thing. This is my second time making steaks for you because the first time I made steaks and I was planning on grilling them outside, it rained. So we'll hope for better luck today. Okay, so I'm just gonna pour that into my Ziploc bag, my freezer bag here. I'm going to mix it all around to make sure all the steaks get coated, and they need to sit at least an hour. It could be more, it could be as much as overnight, but at least an hour. You want to make sure they all get infused with that flavor, and then we'll take them out to the grill and we'll grill them, and we'll talk about how to know when your steak is done. Some people prefer rare, medium rare, well done. So we'll get to all that when we're ready to actually grill. See you in a minute. Okay, and now we are outside, and you might think, well, why are you outside cooking, Miss Draper? Because I'm grilling. So I've got my grill turned on. This is one that's got lots of burners. 5, 6, I don't know. So I've got them all turned on, and it's got a dial here. Let me show you that. So we're going to wait until that gets hot, and then we're going to put the steaks on the grill. Now, a little kind of trick to show you what a steak should feel like. Now, obviously, it's going to make a big difference the thickness of your steak. A very thin steak, if you like your steak medium rare, a very thin steak is going to be really hard to do. Basically, you got to get it hot and get it off of there. That's it. A thicker steak, it's going to be hard to get that well done all the way through without burning the outside. So you got to judge how you're cooking with the thickness of your steaks. That sets the temperature. Okay, so, but let's do this in a nutshell. Basically, if you may have already heard this trick, but just kind of hold your hand flat and feel right there. Just have your hand open, don't hold it stiff, just naturally, and feel how squishy your hand feels right there. Okay, that's what a raw steak feels like. Raw steak, right? Okay, and then just close it. Not squeeze, just gently close your hand. Now touch it. It's not so squishy anymore. That's about medium rare. Now, if you make a fist and touch it, that's well done. That may be past well done depending on how tight you're squeezing your fist. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. That's what it should feel like. Does that always work? Not entirely, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. So as you're cooking steak on the grill, you want to pay attention to when you take either tongs or spatula, something, and touch the steak. You want to pay attention to what it feels like. And that will give you a good indication as to how long it takes. And again, I can't really give you cooking times because it depends on how hot you have your grill on and how thick the steaks are. But start with about 10 to 15 minutes, and then depending on the thickness and what it feels like, then you can adjust your time accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to be right back with you as soon as my grill heats up, and then we'll put the steaks on. Okay, and the grill is hot and it's ready for our steaks. So remember, we made the marinade earlier, put it all in the bag here. So the steak has been sitting here getting all yummy and delicious. So I'll show you the thickness of the steaks I have today, and I've got help here pushing buttons for me, so don't think I'm going to be touching it with my messy hands. So this is the thickness of my steak. It's about 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's what we are doing today. So you could turn camera. All right, so we're going to open up the grill, and we're just going to lay them on there. And then we close and we wait. We'll flip them in just a few minutes and we'll be on our way. Okay, so I'm gonna do the fancy little grill marks on the steaks since you're watching. Okay, so what that means is instead of flipping them only halfway through, and they cook half this way and then the other half this way. A quarter of the way through, we're just going to go rotate them about 90 degrees, and then we'll flip them upside down and do that again later. Okay, so right now I'm just going to take each one, and instead of flipping it over, I'm going to take my tongs and just flip it 90 degrees. That's it. And then we close the lid again. So for steaks that are about 1/2 inch, we're going to do like 3 minutes, about 3 minutes, flip them over, and then it depends on how well done they are as to how long we leave them there. Okay, so we're going to look at them again, just about 3 minutes.
Okay, rolling.
Okay, so this is what we're looking for. I'm going to flip this up and show you. I'm showing you another one. Okay, so the first grill marks weren't on there quite as heavily as the second one, but it's time for us to flip it over. Now, we're just going to flip it over exactly as it was. We're going to give that just a couple of minutes, then we'll do the 90-degree flip, and we'll be all done. Okay, so we've got some grill marks going on this side, so now we're going to do the last 90-degree flip. And then we'll have some yummy looking steaks. Yummy tasting steaks. That's the main thing. And just like that, we close the lid. We wait, each time that I've done this, I've waited till it gets up to about 400 degrees, my little dial here. Now, if you're doing charcoal, obviously you wouldn't have that. They do sell thermometers that you can put in grills, but this is one that has the temperature dial there. So I'm just watching till it gets about 400, and then that tells me it's back at cooking temperature. So we'll take them off again in a minute. Okay, so what I've done is that these, when I touch them, these are medium well already. So I've pulled them forward because it's hotter in the back. That's maybe why you've thought, why is she putting everything in the back? It's hotter back there. So I've pulled these forward. So these are pretty much medium well right now. So I'm going to try to keep them from getting any hotter. These are more medium, and then this one is more rare. It's a thicker, bigger guy, so it's over there on the end. Okay, so we're going to give these just a minute longer, and we'll be ready to cut. Okay, and we are ready to take the steaks up. So to help them from drying out, because you don't want to go through all of this and then have a dry steak on your plate, we're going to let them rest for a little bit. I'm putting them all on my plate here, dripping, making a mess, making sure I have something to clean up later. Okay, make sure you turn the grill off all the way. All those burners have to be off. And then for safety, what I always like to do, of course you don't have to do this, but it's a safety thing. It makes me feel better. I go down here to the tank and I turn it off. You're going to see some water standing down here because it's rained recently. But down here on the tank, remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, turn it to the right to make it tight. So that way the gas doesn't escape. Oh, that was wide open. Okay, so now this can cool off, and then I can clean it up and put the cover back on it to preserve the life of your grill. And we are ready for dinner. Look at the steaks. They're tasty. Awesome. I hope you try to make steaks sometime. It's actually pretty easy. Easier than most people think. Okay, talk to you again soon.